want to talk to you guys today about my Graviflyer. One of the things that we've been testing out is the cold energy. Now, this is very important in how it works. It's a very specific way. When you put the cold energy in, it's a one-wire energy. Again, rod down the center of the Tesla coil, one wire comes out. Now, how do we make that a full circuit? One thing you could do is ground the other side of the energy. So what does that mean for you? You basically take that, you put it into a light, on the other side of that light, put that to ground. It'll increase the amount of energy that comes through the light. Now, you can build up energy in there as capacitance in the light, if it doesn't use it as heat. You see, one of the things about the light is it produces energy because it's exciting the gas inside the bulb. It's using the energy. How do we put it in a system when we're not using the energy and we can accumulate it? Well, that's where your Graviflyer comes in. You see, connecting that rod, the rod down the center of the Tesla coil, and then running the line right over to your Graviflyer, right to the center plate, it's actually putting energy in there. Now, can we get more energy? We'll put the Graviflyer on the ground. Now you're completing the circuit again. Ground, Graviflyer. Graviflyer, Tesla coil, wire down the center. You have now completed that circuit. It is a circuit unto itself. It is not a Tesla coil circuit. So here's what I mean by I say that. You're not creating a loop from your Tesla coil to the whole thing because it's not attached to your Tesla coil. It's a rod down the center. It breaks right there. That is the break in the circuit. Your Tesla coil circuit runs by itself. It is a circuit unto itself. You're simply extracting energy from the Tesla coil. As you extract it, you're not taking anything from the original circuit of the Tesla coil. I think a lot of people miss that. They think that you're drawing more and more power into your Tesla coil to feed this. And you're not. That's not what it's doing. The rod down the center is stealing the energy from the Tesla coil without interrupting the Tesla coil circuit. This is why it's working the way it is. Now you put the thing into the center, you have the grounding. The grounding is pulling up the energy. A lot of you think that you're in a traditional circuit, you're grounding to the energy. Again, this is why testing is important. You're pulling energy into it. You're completing the circuit. The energy comes up because the Tesla coil is acting as a pump. You're tapping that pump. It's real easy. Pump, tap the pump. Now the oscillations come in here, but you're not just dealing with the Graviflyer, you're now dealing with the ground pulling into it. Now we can build a capacitance in that center plate. How do we draw out cold electricity? We know it's cold. We've seen the red light experiment Alexi did. We know that the center plate looks like it's non-existent. How is he drawing it out? Well, that same experiment told you the answer. The top and bottom plate have hot electricity on them. They run to a simple DC flyback. Is he trying to create this gigantic magnetic field out of it? No. What is he doing? He's simply putting enough heat in the top and bottom plate in the rotating disc to draw out the cold energy. He wants to pull the field from that center plate out to both of those plates. He shows you the field in that red light experiment. There's no getting around it. You know exactly what he's doing. He's showing you where that field is. Does it matter if it's infrared? No, not really. It's not what he was going for. He was trying to show you where the field is. And anybody who does anything like that just to show you the simple understanding of where something is, you should pay attention to that. And he's showing you where the heat is a little bit because you see the top and bottom in it heat up a little bit, but you never see the center plate heat up. You'll see the outsides of the center plate heat up a little bit, but nothing else. So, now that we understand the cold electricity, we get into the Piezo. We did some experiments on the Piezo. Let me tell you, I found the perfect spot. I know exactly where to push the button at. And it had to come down to take your oscilloscope, put it over here by your Tesla coil, by the Piezo, Now link it right, another one of your testing things right there by the actual ultrasound circuit. Inside there, there's a little ferrite core. And inside that ferrite core, you're getting these wires that go around it. That has to match the piezo itself. If you get those two connected, okay, and you have both your probes from your oscilloscope on one and the other, and you can test it, and you can match it, what happens? You're going to amplify the amount of energy by double on both sides. If it says 160 millivolts when you're doing it at low voltage, right? Then you hit the button and it doubles to 360. Then you've doubled it, but you got to look at the other side on the negative as well. Did you double that side? So you go a negative 160, it doubles out to a negative 360. You have doubled both sides. There's one spot, just one spot that does that in that whole machine and everything else. Where do you find it? When you turn the dial, you're going to hit a ring signature, and you can hear it. And I'm really hard on hearing, and I can hear it. You hear the ring. Turn it back the other way, you're going to hear the ring again, and it'll show up on your oscilloscope clear as day. Put it right there. It doesn't, not necessarily in the middle, it's a little off. And you're going to find it when you have the two probes right there in the right spot. You're going to see it show up on your oscilloscope. It's the only point that amplifies both ways. Now that we found that, we found the triggering mechanism for this, we're now ready to get to the point where we can lift this thing. We have our understanding. We have our amount of energy we needed. We have our piezo understanding. We have the rotation of the disc and how fast they have to go. Guys, one of the main things on the Graviflyer is do not try to overpower this. The second you try to overpower this type of system, you failed. When you try to put too much hot electricity into it, you failed. Try to run that DC flyback and create this monster voltage, you failed. The understanding comes in balance. This craft has to be in balance. If you do not create balance, you fail. That's what it's teaching you the whole time. It builds fields. There's no question about it. You can write a whole book on the fields that this thing can build. It's basically a field generator. The reason it could lift is because of the cold electricity. Without it, it couldn't. Now, do we understand the frequency of it? Well, there's kind of some questions about that a little bit. Normally, Alexei used a very small Tesla coil. Then, in his next videos, when he starts showing it lift again, he has a very tall Tesla coil. It's about 4 inches round and it's about 3 feet high. When you build something like that, if you understand how Tesla coils work, the more wire that's on the secondary of your Tesla coil, the lower the frequency. The shorter Tesla coils with the least amount of wire have the higher frequencies. So which way did he go? He went with a taller Tesla coil the second time. He's trying to lower the frequency. We all have this thing in mind that we want this super high frequency in order to lift this thing. Well, if it was in hot energy, I could probably agree with you. But the fact that he put cold energy in there changes the game. He's reducing the amount of frequency in this machine. Now, it works on a beat frequency. So everything in it runs at the same frequency. It's self-correcting. We have to start to understand this when we go to the next level. Do we change our Tesla coil again? Right now we're at 300 kilohertz or 320. Do we need to go down? Should I build it at 300 kilohertz and drop it down to, I don't know, maybe 900 hertz, 800 hertz? Where should I go with it? That's kind of the question. If you look at the actual size of his Tesla coil, 4 inches round, 3 feet high, you are right around maybe 100 kilohertz. So if you put in your Graviflyer to it and it reduces it by 300 kilohertz, what do you get? Right around 800 hertz. That's the frequency he was in the last time he lifted it. You could go back to the original footage and say we had a very small Tesla coil. I can tell you in the anomalies of a Tesla coil, I can get mine down to 20 hertz when it starts out at 700 kilohertz. It's in the understanding of the circuit itself. If you use a Slayer exciter, it's easy to maneuver that right down. If you use a ZVS, it's a little harder to do it, but it's still possible. I guess it's really going to come down to the understanding of how well you know your Tesla coil and how well you know your frequencies. Not every Tesla coil operates the way you think it does. I know a lot of people out there put this Tesla coil together and they think, man, I got it done, it gives the frequency and that's the only place it goes. Well, I hate to tell you this, but it's not. There's so many ways to manipulate a Tesla coil. Man, if you've been watching my channel, you understand that by now. There's not a thing I couldn't do with this Tesla coil if I wanted to. But please understand this. In order to get the Graviflyer right, that part has to be right too. So we go back to testing again. That's pretty much where we're at. Eventually we'll get this project done. Please remember, we're reverse engineering anti-gravity. You know, we're not building a peanut butter and jelly sandwich here. We're not done in 2 minutes. We're not buying something and plugging it into the wall. We are reverse engineering anti-gravity. In order to do that, you better be correct in every single phase of it. There are countless thousands of tests that I've done. I know more about this subject than anybody else ever could. Let me tell you, this is the way it's working. I'm finding every single anomaly. I'm finding out why they're there. Not just that they're there. I am going into strict detail on why they're there. So when you look at all these videos about the cold energy versus hot energy, understand that there's a purpose there. I don't think people understood why I put the wire down the Tesla coil. So I simply show you the cold electricity side of energy. Huge breakthrough in understanding energy. It's the same energy that you would use to power the pyramids. It interacts with silica. It interacts with the quartz. It's the correct thing to use in all of that stuff. Why would it not work for anti-gravity? The thing is, I think it's the exact stuff that works with anti-gravity. And that's the whole reason it's going to work. So, anyway, I want to thank you guys for your time today. We're going to be building some more Tesla coils here and figuring some more stuff out. It's going to be a better understanding as we go forward. Again, this project's going to take some time. It's not going to be done overnight. So I hope everybody enjoys this. I hope you get to understand a little bit more of what we're trying to do here. Again, cold electricity in the center plate, pull it out a little bit with the heat. Do not try to overpower it. You will ruin the system. Anyway, thank you for watching and have yourself a great day.